Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Star Wars Shatterpoint just recently had its unboxing of the core set, which gave us a ton of information that we didn't have before, and a lot of information was distributed in the same day. And I just wanted to do a quick summary video that would talk about all the information we got from this unboxing. If you didn't want to watch like my whole watch party and then all of the rest of the information that came out throughout the day. So I want to talk about all of that information in today's video. Also want to do a little admin stuff. Again, I'm always asking you guys to, if you like what you see here, be sure to like the video, thumbs up the video, share it, subscribe if you want more information about Star Wars tabletop gaming. That's what I talk about a lot, and we're going to be a lot more Star Wars Shatterpoint information, as well as Star Wars Legion and Star Wars Armada and Star Wars X-Wing, and I talk about all of these games quite a bit. And also I do a lot of giveaways, and I'm going to be starting another one very soon. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. So let's go ahead and just jump in and start talking about this this unboxing that they did. First off, biggest box they've ever done. The box is very, very large. There's multiple large bags of miniatures in here. Lots of sprues. Again, it's unpainted. You're gonna have to still clip them out. You're still gonna have to paint them, assemble them, glue them together, just like every game that Atomic Mass Games produces right now. So a lot of people had been asking, is it pre-painted? No, it is not. It's also going to retail for $164.99. So it's gonna be an expensive core set. But it also comes with a lot. It comes with 16 miniatures. When I say a miniature, I mean a base and models on the base, because there are a couple of B1s that are 3 on each base. Those each count as one miniature, even though there's 3 miniatures on one base. So we're treating that as one miniature. So that included, there are 16 miniatures. There it's basically 4 different squads, and you can mix and match, heroes and villains. That's a big point, being able to mix and match basically whoever you want to build your dream team of Star Wars. A lot of people aren't crazy about that. A lot of people are crazy about that. I'm personally very much in favor of being able to mix and match, because we see it so much in the Clone Wars, where you have unlikely allies. Asajj Ventress, works with just about everybody at some point. Even Dooku worked with Obi-Wan and Anakin in an episode. So there's almost always a case to potentially make people work together. But I also expect it'll be a little bit like Marvel Crisis Protocol, where just because you can pair people up together doesn't mean that that's a good thing to do. So you're probably going to be heavily incentivized to run thematic lists if at all possible. We learned there will be tokens, like most games. There's punch board, and we got to see damage tokens, force tokens, objective tokens. It is going to be an objective-based game. We definitely have seen that. And there's some other tokens that they're going to be talking about. There's also apparently like a light and a dark token. Unclear what those are for, whether they represent like first player, second player, or light side and dark side, or they are maybe tied to specific objectives as well. We also got to look at the sprues. Now, this particular image was the first bag that they pulled out. There's a lot of pieces of terrain. Most of the sprues and the plastic you're going to see in here is terrain. There's actually only 2 sprues of miniatures. We'll look at those in a minute. But the bases are about Marvel Crisis Protocol size. These bases are all on like these round sprues here, so like there's like an extra round ring around that, so it looks like you're gonna have to clip those out at these just little touch points here. So this makes them look a little bit bigger than they actually are, and compared to Will Shig's hand here, you can see that these bases are basically Marvel Crisis Protocol sized bases. So it looks like it's going to be in exactly the same scale as Marvel Crisis Protocol. I think that's a pretty safe wager. I'm not sure if they've ever said if Marvel Crisis Protocol was in the 40mm scale or not, but the bases look about the same size. And they also have the same inside, where if you want to magnetize them with the like 1mm by 6mm magnets, you should be able to do that. It looks like you're going to be able to do that. And so it looks fully, at least physically, it looks fully compatible with Marvel Crisis Protocol, especially the terrain. They want all the terrain to be compatible with all of the games, and that is one of the things. Speaking of terrain, Another big bag full of terrain, lots and lots of terrain in this core set. They also wanted to showcase the what is in the box. There were, one of the things they did, like at the very top, there were some like pretty pictures that you can use the box once it's all emptied out. You can shadow box and like have these fancy backdrops to photograph your minis. But they also did this because there were some problems with Marvel Crisis Protocol where a lot of stuff was hidden under some of the flaps, like the cars and things like that were hidden. And a lot of people didn't know that they didn't have, they were like, where's my cars? And they're posting rage and sending nasty emails and stuff. So they put little finger holes in the box here. You'll be able to, basically, there's going to be like a 3 tiers of different stuff like that are separated by cardboard in this box. And at the very bottom, you still have one more tier here where you're going to kind of open up this last compartment and get your dice and cards and all of that stuff. So a lot of that is packaged that way to kind of keep the miniatures and the plastic sprues safe. So there they are. So make sure you open that up. And yes, there are dice. There are both attack and defense dice. And it looks like the dice have no blanks based on what we've seen. It looks like the attack dice are D8s. And it looks like the defense dice are D6s, very much like Star Wars Legion. But there are only one color for each gray D8s, it looks like, for attack. And dark blue D6s, it looks like, for defense. And there are multiple different symbols on those. I think these ones are, the gray ones are the attack dice because they have symbols that very clearly look like a hit symbol. Although I could be wrong. But they didn't say exactly which one was an attack die and which one was a defense die. They just grabbed the whole pile and said attack and defense dice. And so that's interesting. We have a struggle tracker here, and it's basically, this is the victory point system, and you have a silver, or a clear rather, cube, and then you have some black cubes, and there's multiple black cubes, and it basically, you're going to fill up your side with momentum, and that has something to do with the, I guess, your side being higher than your opponent's side has an impact on the game, and also it impacts maybe how much this silver or this clear cube can move, and this is basically how victory points. And they're going to talk more about this in a future article. Everything that you're seeing here, they're going to be elaborating on. They really kind of glazed over this. It didn't go into a whole lot of detail on how this works. They just gave you kind of a rough overview. This is your victory points tracker. And so there you go. That's called a struggle tracker. They also showcased the package of cards without opening the package of cards. So we didn't get to see a whole lot of detail on the cards, but we can see clearly that they're larger, kind of tarot-sized, or pretty, kind of, they look like they're about the same size as the Marvel Crisis Protocol character cards. Ahsoka Tano appears to have 9 health and 3 force. Is what it looks like, and of course she has a subtype too, Ahsoka Tano, Jedi no more, implying in no uncertain terms that there certainly could be other versions of Ahsoka Tano in this game, which is certainly a very cool thing. And we also have like these objective cards, or these like kind of scenario type cards here, which look very, very much like how Marvel Crisis Protocol does its scenarios, and that it's showing a movement tools like a 4 to here, like a 4 square to here, and then 5 in between. So like you're going to set up your objectives, and this is the guide. So this is how far apart they need to be. So you just need to make a little tic-tac-toe board, and using the range tools as a separate. And we're going to talk about the range tools in a minute too. We also got to see the B1 battle droid cards, and they're they a supporting unit, and my guess is they have no force, which would make sense. 3-piece, in other words, there's 3 of them. Some people brought out the Republic symbol in the top left corner. Will Schick actually answered this in a Facebook post, and he clarified that this does not mean that they are Republic in their faction. It means that they are of the Clone Wars era, and and so eras will be indicated by an era symbol. All of the characters that you're going to see in the core set and in the first wave are all of the Clone Wars era. That was a massive kind kind of spoiler that basically says eras are a thing, which means there can be other eras. He went out to specifically say this is an era, and this is, of course, obviously something we're going to see. If they're putting a Clone Wars era symbol on here, it means that this game is not restricted to only Clone Wars. And I don't think a lot of people realistically thought that, but it gives us an idea that that was something they have in their, the game is designed to be future-proof, right? In that they are certainly allowing themselves the ability to do other eras. And that doesn't mean that they can only do Galactic Civil War. It means they could do, the sequel trilogy. It means they could go back and do Old Republic or the High Republic or Mando, or there's lots of different eras that they could potentially do. And that's a very exciting thing. Whether or not you could mix and match eras is a question for way down the line. But of course, I will be asking that because I wonder if can I do Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker on the same team? My guess, probably not. But sure, why not? I mean, it's, maybe in a what-if world, right? Who knows? Pretty cool stuff. So we did get a look at the 2 sprues that have all of the miniatures on there. So that's just the general sprue design. It's, kind of how these miniature sprues tend to look. Movement tool looks an awful lot like, and there's multiples of these, it looks an awful lot like Marvel Crisis Protocol's movement tools. Also, kind of like Legions. Legion and Marvel Crisis Protocol are very similar, but this one looks like really a lot like Marvel Crisis Protocol's movement tool. And when you add in the fact that, and it's also got range tools here, and they look really a lot like Marvel Crisis Protocol's range tools. I'm like, okay, they clearly wanted this to have that AMG kind of stamp on it, and that I very much expect this game to be potentially compatible with Marvel Crisis Protocol. Even though the dice are different, even though there's tons of differences, it seems like there's way more similarities than differences. So I think that's cool. I think, honestly, it's a legally distinct thing. They probably didn't get a license to be able to make a crossover game. And so I would bet you that the folks at AMG like to think about the same stuff that a lot of us think. And like, wouldn't it be cool to be able, not always, but to be able to say, hey, what would happen if Iron Man went up against Darth Vader, right? Well, let's make a system that's close enough that we could maybe do that, just on our kitchen tables and stuff, but we won't be able to market it that way. They're not able to market this as a crossover game, that we know of. But I'm guessing there's gonna exist the potential to make that crossover. Although if Ahsoka Tano has 9 health, then that's interesting. Well, that could actually be balanced though, because maybe she doesn't have a flip over side, maybe she doesn't have a wounded side, and maybe everybody's like the Hulk and that they just have X amount of health. It might work. I don't know if they'll be balanced against each other. That's worth checking out. We also have expansions. The expansions are going to be $50 or $49.99. All of this goes for pre-order on January 30th, including the Hello There squad pack, the core set, and some other things. I would imagine there'll probably be that Dooku squad also, and also some of the terrain, things that we've kind of already seen. And maybe like an extra dice pack or movement tools and things like that. Those are the kind of the standard package for launch wave stuff for a new game. And and so again, not the cheapest price point for a squad pack, but I think it's pretty reasonable. $50 for 4 miniatures that are going to be really nice miniatures isn't that outrageous, although it's a little higher than some folks are used to. It's also pretty reasonable depending on where you're comparing it to. I'm definitely going to be getting everything for this game. So, so if you want to check it out first, I'll do unboxings and things like that. They also confirmed that the game will play on a 3x3 play area like a lot of us expected, but it was good to have that confirmation that it wasn't using some kind of all-new play surface, or do I need to custom order 2x4 play mats or what have you. So your existing 3x3 play mats will still be good. Your terrain is still going to be good. All the terrain is compatible. going to be multilingual. This game is coming out in a ton of other languages. It will be demoed at Adepticon, and also going to be demoed at Star Wars Celebration, but is not going to be available for sale yet. You have to wait till the summer, so a little bit after that. Yeah. So that's I think that's pretty much all the information that we have so far. I don't think I missed anything else. Let's see. There's just a lot more articles to come, and of course, I'll be bringing you all that information as it comes out and shows up. So I'm really excited. I want to hear what you are looking forward to seeing in this game. One of the things that I have that I want to see is, what is the Mace Windu pack going to come with? My guess is it'll come with Depa Billaba, but who would be the other two? Would be like Senate guards or maybe like generic Jedi, which that would be kind of cool too. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. I'm super excited. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper for the Republic. Take that, clankers. And Roger.